Hey guys, Leah Latini here. I am in Vegas. Behind me, you can see I'm out at a club at Vegas. It's a little joke for those of you who saw our post earlier this week about the Zoom backgrounds from the Las Vegas Tourist Board. They're super fun. So if you'd like to be in a club in all of your presentations or on the strip or in front of the Bellagio fountains, you can do that as well. So anyway, I wanted to say welcome to our first ever Sundays with Canva. I am so excited to bring this little feature to all of you. Canva is something that I've used for a long, long time. In my done for you marketing agency, we tend to still use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, but we've been using Canva for years. I would say probably almost 5 years, 6 years. And basically, we've been using it for social media purposes. Now, Canva is getting better and better and better. And so I thought now is the time to really start giving you all some of my best tips and tricks for using Canva and just diving in, because the better it gets, the less you're going to need to hire a professional designer to do everything for you, meaning you can do little parts of it for yourself, even if you're not a designer. And then also, the better it gets, the less you'll need to use professional software like Adobe, etc., which are really great, but they're also, the learning curve is a little bit steeper, and Canva is just pretty easy and user-friendly. So we're going to dive in. Today is a very simple just walk through. I have so many things I want to show you. There's so many cool things to look at, but today I kind of want to do a brief overview since it's our first session, and then have you guys all drop comments and questions on this video, and as well as another question post later this week about what do you want to know about Canva? What struggles do you have, or what do you want to create with Canva? And I'm going to do my best to answer all of your questions. So we're going to dive in right now to our simple tutorial and introduction to Canva. And I'll show you some of the things that I love the most about the program. So here we go. Hang on one second. All right. So for those of you who have used Canva before, you're going to be really familiar with this is the dashboard. Now, the issue with Canva, for a lot of you that may be following along and maybe you don't have the same features, I do encourage you to go ahead and do the free trial of the Pro account. I believe it's $12 a month, but they do have a free trial going on right now. And I'll tell you in a second a few of the reasons why it's such a good deal. And I honestly, for 12 bucks a month, can't even imagine not having it. So anyway, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Canva, this is the dashboard where you sign in and it immediately asks you, what do you want to design? So the one thing that really got me started using Canva in my marketing business, you can see I even do some of our thumbnails for YouTube and graphics for the group here. And so basically, one of the main reasons that I started using Canva in my agency was because creating a social media post in Adobe Illustrator, is just like a lot of time and effort for one little post that lasts for 5 minutes or what have you. You have to make them for every day. So Canva was appealing to me because you can create one thing like a Facebook post, and then you can automatically change your dimensions to make modified versions, copies that'll go on your other social media that you're active on. So that's the first thing I just want to take you through. If you've never used the Resize tool, or if you've never used Canva at all, it's a great place to start of your understanding of why Canva is so fabulous. All right. So basically, we're going to start with a Facebook post. Now, they have the dimensions already loaded in here, right? They're going to tell you, and if you look at the Resize button up here in the left-hand corner, click on that. It's going to tell you what your dimensions are at right now. So 940 by 788. Now, we'll come back to the Resize functionality in a second. So the first thing to remember about Canva is that the templates, button, photos, elements, text. We're not going to get to music. That's going to be a little bit further down the road. So let's just start with the basics. The templates are fantastic. Canva has so many templates that you could ever possibly, think about. Announcements, just basic layouts for, quotes, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick something, one of the simpler templates, right? Just something that they have, again, they have really advanced and really crazy templates all the way down to super, super simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick something very simple. And we'll get into branding as well, about how you can load your brand standards into Canva, which is awesome. But for social media, I know everyone says, oh, you got to have, especially on Instagram, you got to have the same fonts. And you do, you should in certain circumstances like Instagram especially. But there's nothing wrong also, in my opinion, in throwing in, especially for holidays or special events or whatever, throw in some fun stuff that you think looks good and it's on brand and your logo still, you can still upload your logo. Great. Don't get too hard on yourself about when you're in your creative mode. All right. So, and you can create your own templates. We'll get to that at one point as well. But just for today, let's look at the Resize tool. So climb a mountain. Okay, awesome. So if you wanted a couple of quick tips for changing out things in the templates, you want to delete the photo that came with it. You can use the photo that came with it or not. So go to photos over here. And let's just say we're going to keep that quote, climb a mountain. So we're going to search for mountain photos. Now, this is where you're going to see some of them say pro, right? Some of them say pro on them. Now, you may have seen the post that we had, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago that if you have a $12 a month Canva account, it used to be you'd still have to pay $1 for every stock photo you purchased. Now it's included in your $12 a month, which is insane because I pay much more than that for my subscriptions for my stock photography. So anyway, long story short, you pick a photo that you like, right? I just picked this one. This one happens to be free, but again, I can pick any of the pro ones now because I have, it's included. So I'm just going to click on it and it throws it over here to your canvas, right? And it put it automatically. One of the things about Canva that can be a little bit annoying is that it automatically it tries to guess where you want to put whatever element you're adding to your canvas. And this one correctly guessed that we wanted it to be behind this title, but you'll see, stretch it out, see what I'm doing? I'm just stretching out the size to fully cover the canvas, right? And it did choose this correctly. It's behind this text, but it did not do so for the rest. So we're just going to go up here and click position while the photo is selected, click position and hit backward and see it brought everything else to the front. Awesome. So the other thing that I notice here is that the white is very hard to read now that the photo that I've chosen, right? So I can do a couple of different things. I can expand it, make it big, 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 so only the darker mountains are showing behind the text. Or I'm going to actually try a filter. And actually adjust it, excuse me. So when you click on a photo, select, you can tell, I don't know if you can tell this box, this little blue box around the photo. See if you can see it, that blue line, that means it's selected. So once it's selected, these little tabs will pop up on the top and you can do a filter, you can do effects, they're a little bit more advanced. The effects can get a little tricky. Adjust is super simple stuff, right? So basically this is a simple photo editor. They're getting more advanced. I used to have to take all of my edited photos and edit them in Photoshop or another online editor like PicMonkey and then upload them back into Canva. Now the in-house Canva editor for photos is getting much better. So basically I want to see if I can make it a little darker. Boom. Yeah, that's, you can play with it. Totally up to you. There's also, let's take a look at the effects real quick. There's the background remover, which I'm still not a huge fan of. It's not fantastic, but you know, for those of you that want to use it, you can. And there's all these different cool, you know, all sorts of different things for effects. And then filters, you know, changes the look. So I'm just going to go with none and keep, oops, and go back to the brightness and just kind of make it a little bit darker. Zoom out. And then I'm actually going to zoom out on your canvas. And I'm just going to make it like that. And it's cropping it for me automatically, right? Zoom back in. And now I can see, all right, I need this to be, you know, readable, a little bit more readable. So maybe I'll leave it here. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to mess around with this too much right now because this is just to show you get you familiar with the tools. Now, obviously, you can click in and change the text if you double click on any of these elements, and you can change the font and weight of every text that's in here. So you can see this little bottom one's hard to read. You can make it bigger. You can make it, you know, whatever you feel like works. You can play with it. You're the designer in Canva. So anyway, so this is a good example, right? And we'll see, maybe I want to, let's see here. No, I don't want to make it bigger. Maybe I just want to flip it. Yeah, that's better. That's way more readable. So play with it. That's what I love about Canva the most, is that it makes it really easy to play with stuff, and you don't have to know a lot of complicated programming. I mean, like not programming, but complicated commands. Like in Adobe Illustrator, you have to know all these shortcuts and what all these tools mean. This is pretty simple. You get it and play with it. So, all right, I'm happy with this, right? So first thing I'm going to do is download. So this little button here, it's going to bring up the download menu. And most of the time you're going to get a ping, which is fine. You can also do, if you have like a cutout image, you can do a transparent background, anything like that. There's all kinds of different things that we're going to go over in other weeks. If transparent backgrounds or cutouts, image cutouts, or something that you'd like to learn more about, just go ahead and ask me some questions here, and we'll put it on the list because it is something that's really fun to play with, but it is a little bit more complicated. So unless you're really looking for that feature, get comfortable with the program in other ways first. So ping, the PNG, is definitely the most common file. You can also do JPEGs, PDFs, and then video and GIFs, and then animation. Those are more advanced, obviously, but I will tell you that I am just totally in love with the video and GIF export option on Canva right now. And I'll probably be talking about that next week because it's actually an advanced feature that you can use in a simple way, if that makes sense. So anyway, but for the most part, you're just going to be picking the PNG file. Go ahead and download it. You're good to go. You've got a Facebook post that's perfectly, has perfect dimensions for your Facebook. All right, so here's the little trick that I just wanted to make sure you're all aware of today. Again, this is a basic video. So how many of you, go ahead and tell me in the video, how many of you have used the Resize button in Canva? It's up here in the left-hand corner. We kind of went over it in the beginning, where it was, so you know what your dimensions are, right? 940 and 788 is where it currently is. That is, they keep all the dimensions up to date. So as soon as Facebook changes, oh, actually, this is not our size anymore. You know how they do that. It's really, can be quite annoying to keep up with that stuff. Canva keeps up with it for you, which is really great. So anyway, if you want to go ahead and you can do a custom resize, right? But let's just say we want to pick something specific. We want to use the same graphics that are in this piece, right? This file, and I want to use it on Instagram. Then I would go ahead and click Instagram. But you know what? I actually kind of want to use it on my Facebook cover too, like the same photo and the same fonts and stuff. I actually want to make my Facebook cover photo similar to this post. All right, I'm going to click, I want that one. And what else do I need to do with this? Let's see. Social media, YouTube, Pinterest pin. Oh, I think I need to make a Pinterest pin too, and a Twitter post. Yep. Okay. That's good. And then let's say Instagram story. I need a story too. Yes. Okay. Copy and resize it. All right. You want to, yes, allow this. Uh-oh. You may have to do that as well. It's done in a pop-up, so you want to make sure you allow on your computer pop-ups from Canva and continue resizing. Hope it does it. Okay, let's see. It looks like I have to do it again because of the pop-up thing. I just bought a new computer, so if you're on a browser that you haven't approved Canva for before, you might have to do it. So let's just go back and do a couple of them to show you, illustrate the point here. Instagram and search Instagram story. Yes, we want copy and resize those. Okay, now it's working. So what it does, if you can see my tabs up here at the top, it gives me a different window for every single one, every single size, right? So this is the Instagram story version. If you go resize, it's gonna show you, it says resize your story, right? So it gives you a hint of what you're working on. And you can resize it, grab the whole thing and pull it by the side here, boom. And in about, let's just see, that's a little too big, I think. Okay, now I want to adjust this photo just slightly because the way the dark background is showing up isn't catching all the text in front of it. So there we go. And literally, how long did that take me? 5 seconds, right? So we put the work in on the Facebook post. You could do it Facebook or Instagram is the square. So that's whatever you want to do, your playing and drawing and kind of like, you know, it's like drawing, really. It's your creative brainstorming time. Do that in a certain size and then resize it to all these different formats. And it takes seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. Look at there, it's done. Make sure you save whatever you want it to be. So you say mountain IG story. Done, saved. Awesome. Then you go back and download this just like we did with the other dimensions, the Facebook post one. Now let's take a look. See, this one is the, let's see. This is the 1080 by 1080. So see, it tells you right here, resize your Instagram post. This one is the Instagram post. We can do the same thing that we just did for the story. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit. Yep. Okay. And then we're going to grab that text element. We want it to be really big on Instagram. Okay. Like that. Yeah, I love it. And maybe you want to adjust how your photo is showing up here. If you double click, for those of you that aren't catching that, if you double click on the photo, it brings up the crop window automatically. Okay. So then again, you can save it, mountain, Instagram post. Awesome, download it. Story download, yeah, oh, excuse me. This is the Facebook cover. So one thing that this could be really good for is if you have, you know, a promotion or a campaign or a challenge or whatever you're running at the time, you might want to change your Facebook cover photo for your group or your personal profile or a business page for a limited amount of time. So anyway, so that is it in a nutshell. You can basically resize the same content in a couple of minutes. And I hope this was an awesome, you know, first look at some of the possibilities we're going to explore in Canva. And I really encourage you guys, let me just stop sharing. So I hope you enjoyed it. And please, 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 these videos are only as good as your questions that I can help you with. So I'll see you next week on Sundays with Canva.